We all know about those famous fantasy books, but what about those hidden gems, those underrated fantasy books, those books that are 5 stars? Well, today we're gonna see 10 fantasy hidden gems. We're gonna see 5 standalones, but then also 5 completed fantasy series that I believe you are gonna love. And let's start with Nettle Bone. This is a dark fairy tale, but surprisingly light in tone. We'll have a quest at its core, and although the main story will follow just one point of view, we will see these other characters, amazing family fun vibes. It's pretty short and it's fairly plot driven. Magic wise, it's gonna be a soft magic system where we will see a little bit of witchcraft. We'll follow the story of our girl who is a princess for this land. She does not really believe herself to be important for her family, and she has been a little bit more recluded. The thing is that she will discover that her sister, who has been married to this neighbor kingdom in order to avoid war, it's being treated very badly. So she will start this quest of saving her sister, avoiding war, and what we will find, it's an incredible quest. And we continue with Half a Soul. This is an historical fiction kind of a story, but add to that blend an evil fae, and the result will be this extremely cozy, cute, feel-good kind of book. A good blend between character and plot driven, although this time I believe leans a little bit more towards the plot. There's gonna be a lot of banter and a chosen one kind of trope at its core, as well as a little bit of an enemies to lovers. Half a Soul tells the story of this girl who, when being a child, crosses path with this evil fae who stole half of her soul. It seems that he was meaning to steal her soul completely and take him back to fairy, but the result is that now our girl does not behave as it is expected, and her emotions are a little bit dumb, which means that she does not feel that excitement, but also she does not feel that fear, which really will be a very useful skill when trying to understand what is happening to the children of the realm and also to recover her soul. And continuing with the coziness, but this time moving to more of a medieval kind of vibe, we have Legends and Lattes. This is a story that will take you and it will just send you to the most comfy place that you can imagine, and we'll follow the story of our girl who is no. She was a warrior in the past, you know, she defeated monsters, and now she wants to retreat from that life, and her dream now is to open this coffee shop. This is something weird because only the dwarves are drinking or even enjoying this coffee, but she fell in love with it, and the story will just follow her throughout this path. We will see an amazing cast of characters that will really steal your heart, and overall the story is just comfy. And we move to an incredibly consuming, fast-paced, plot-driven story, which is Ace of Spades. We will follow 2 main points of view, which will make this go just so much faster. You will want to know what is happening to each of these characters. This is a dark urban fantasy that it plays around with your mind. It has been described as the perfect blend between Gossip Girl and Get Out the movie, and I cannot agree more. Ace of Spades will start at the beginning of a new course, and we will follow these 2 main characters as starting this. We will have one of these characters who is very popular girl, and the other one, it's kind of a misfit. Suddenly there's gonna be a lot of rumors about these 2 characters, about their lives, and we will lose track very quickly of what is happening. I promise you, this is such a wild ride. And we conclude with a very descriptive, kind of heartwarming but at the same time sad story, Kingdom of a Bag. This will follow the story of our girl. It's gonna be fairly character driven, and we will see mainly a chosen one and also a growing up story. There's gonna be a lot around this mystical world, and magic wise there's just gonna be a soft magic system where there's this fae, this realm, and something happening to our characters who are very famous, because we will follow Nannerl Mozart, so the sister of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and we will see how they will start to grow up together and how Nannerl was also very good at music. The thing is that she, being a girl, did not have that big of a role in this society, and we'll see how the 2 of them create this magical world called the Kingdom of Bag. There's going to be also this fine line of what is true and what isn't, and really I believe this to be a heartbreaking but also such an inspiring story. And now with the standalones, let's go to incredible concluded series, and we will start with no other than the Greenbone Saga and the first one, Jade City. This is a deeply character-driven story set in this urban fantasy where we will have magic that enable us to be superhumans. In this story, we will follow 3 main points of view. The stakes and the plot that happens will be so consuming, and Jade City will have this godfather touch to it, and we will follow this land where they have Jade. Jade enables us to have special powers, but not everyone can be able to wear these jade. We'll see two clans mainly fighting for the control of these jade and also for the people, especially one of those clans. I promise you that some of these scenes that you will see here you will never forget, and that these characters will go so beneath your skin that it's unbelievable. Moving to a more epic medieval story, we'll have The Ninth Reign. This is a story that will again follow different points of view, an incredible blend between fantasy, almost sci-fi, and it will have some touches of horror inside of it, mainly character driven, especially the first one, although book 2 and 3 quicken up a little bit the pace, but I guess it's a little bit slower. And one of the things about this book is that you will discover how this world works and what is happening alongside the characters. And the story unravels in this land where every now and then there's this war called reigns. No one remembers who are these enemies because the only ones that were fighting them were this elven race that it's now dying. And we'll have our first point of view here. He is running away from his home. He does not want to see everything crumbling, and he will merge paths with this second point of view, who is of this noble woman that she has forsaken her whole life, and all that she wants to do is to figure out what these wars are happening and how we can prevent them. And in that path, they will meet our third and last character, who is this incredibly untamed witch. We change gears to the Founders series by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is a trilogy that starts being really a fantasy, a heist with incredible characters, sentient objects, but as the story progresses, it very quickly turns into a sci-fi kind of a story, and you will be surprised about its conclusion. And we go now to one of my favorite books of all time, which is The Aurelian Cycle, with the first book, Fireborn. This is a dual point of view, a perfect blend between character and a plot driven, leaning a little bit towards the character driven. There's going to be a society that it's break down in different layers, to friends with an impossible relationship, a trial, we will see a revolution at its core, and dragons. What else can you think about? It's really political and it's fascinating. And Fireborn will follow the story of these two characters that live in the aftermath of a revolution. Annie, our girl, is the daughter of one of a peasant family that was killed by these dragon lords. And then we will have our second point of view, Lee. Everyone believes him dead because all of these dragon lords were killed. And we will pick up this story when they are about to start a set of trials in order to see who can be the leader, the commander of this fleet of dragons that remains. But there are whispers across the sea that a new revolution might be coming again. It's such a ride, cannot recommend enough. And last but not least, we'll have The Shadow of the Fox trilogy by Julie Kagawa. This is a beautiful story full of folklore, full of beautiful descriptions. There's this feudal Japanese ambience that for me was incredible. We'll have a sunshine in a grumpy trope, also a chosen one, a quest, and this magic, this great evil that needs to be defeated. And overall, it's going to be very plot driven, very fast. It will almost read as a video game, and I adored it. Shadow of the Fox will follow two main points of view. The first one is going to be of this girl that is a kitsune. So she is half woman, half fox. She lived in this shrine, taking care of a small piece of a scroll that, if brought together, can summon a dragon that will grant a wish, which is terrible for society. One day, something horrible happens in this shrine that will put Argyle on the flee, taking to safety this little piece of a scroll. In that path, she will meet this second point of view, which is of this very deadly samurai. He has a secret though, because in his sword, he bears a demon, and this demon, it's always trying to possess him. Therefore, he's always this shadowy, grumpy kind of figure that also has an agenda of his own. Surprisingly emotional, beautiful, an easy read, and the perfect palate cleanser. And now I leave you to 16 low commitment fantasy books, incredible standalones divided by moods. Enjoy!